to me, come on.
So, hello. Just thought I'd do a quick video. Not sure what I'm using, Snapchat camera or Snap camera. Don't know whether it's going to be any good or not. We'll give it a go. Just really wanted to come on and just talk about the recruitment market. I'm an internal talent acquisition business partner for a deep tech company called Envisix. We do augmented reality head-up displays for the automotive industry. Our technology is a bit different, and it's becoming more immersive. The augmented reality is a real plus point, and the field of vision on the windshield in front of you makes the safety aspects of driving far greater. Anyway, so we recruit a number of different types of roles in engineering, from mechanical engineering to software, hardware, FPGA, ASIC side. We develop our own ASIC. Then we have a lot of test and validation engineers. We have holographic system engineers, scientists, and then we have some of the back office support roles like HR, finance, and sales. And what we found in the market currently, certainly over the last 2 years, or since 2 years when the market was quite good, candidates had a lot of choice in the market for roles, is that we're finding an increase in applications, not necessarily strong applications. So if we put a role out for a software engineer, and even if we're being specific with key skills and experience like C++, image processing, and the like, that we are finding that we have a large number of applications, in the hundreds, and a lot of those aren't relevant and don't have the specific skills and experience that we're asking for. Now, I don't really know the answer to this, whether it's a case of there just being a lot more people out there desperate for work, or whether it's a bit of a combination where a lot of job applications are automated now, especially from engineering perspective. Like software engineers would have the capability of being able to set up or understand how to set up an automated application process. But I also think that a lot of these job boards, LinkedIn, there's a lot of apps available now to automate job applications. And the problem with this is that you have less control over the applications that you're making, and they're less personalized, and they're less structured, and they're less specific, and following your key skills and experience, or a match up to those. And it's making it very difficult for the internal talent acquisition people, recruiters, to sift through these applications, because we sort of pride ourselves on reviewing all candidates personally. It's a bit of a misnomer, misinformation that we use AI to sift candidates. It's very rare, and I would say, I don't know a percentage, I'll be guessing, but everyone I speak to within the talent community are not using AI to sift candidates. So it's all done by ourselves. We speed read, we go through candidates' CVs, and we give a response to everyone. Now, that's okay if you're getting 40, 50 applications, it's manageable. But when you're in the hundreds, late hundreds and early thousands in applications, that is incredibly time consuming. And especially when you're entering, you go in there and you see 500 applications, you just know that you're not going to get 500 specifically relevant candidates for that role over the course of a few days. So you're already going in knowing that most of them aren't going to be relevant, and that switches your mindset. So that makes it difficult to identify, because you get into this process of clicking, I guess, swiping left, or whatever it is you do on dating apps. It's a sort of similar thing, I imagine. So I don't know where I'm going with this, or what the answer is to it, but I do think that the current application process is broken. We're entering a new realm of the ways of applying for roles, and it's a bit of a switchover now. Everyone's been told to personalize and make sure your application is relevant for each role that you apply for. And that's all very well and good. But when you're applying for hundreds of roles on a weekly basis, then that's difficult to do. And also, those applications may get lost in the hundreds and thousands of applications that are coming into that particular role. So you do need to try and figure out ways to stand out. From an internal recruiter's perspective, I don't really know what the answer is, because if you start saying, well, I'll send my CV direct to someone, I don't want it. I don't want those direct applications, because actually that's not true. We manage everything within our ATS, our applicant tracking system, and that's the best way for us to manage, because everything's in the one place, and we don't lose applications, we don't miss things. If we get an email direct, it could be missed. But what I would probably suggest is that to filter yourself from the automated. So let's assume there's 100 applications for a particular role, and 80 of those are going to have been automated or done on quick, easy apply or no thought. So I could contact any of those 80 candidates and ask them if they know who Invisix is. They would say no. They wouldn't know. But 20 would, because 20 saw the job advert, looked on the website, had a look through the job description, changed their cover letter to be relevant for that particular role and directed at that particular company. And they'd say, yes, I applied for that role. They may have to resort to having a look at the spreadsheet that they're using and say, yeah, I applied for that role on this day. I'm really interested in the position. It matches my skills and experience. So if you're one of those 20, let's say 20 took the effort, 10 are actually very well suited for the role and have the previous experience, or close to. Now, if I was one of those 10, personally, I would still apply. I'd still write a cover letter specific for that particular role. I'd take that time to make that effort. But what I would then also do is I would make contact through LinkedIn. So I'd send a connection request, or a follow at least, because I would see that you'd followed me. I'd have a quick look. I'd put a little note just to say, I've noticed your job position, your job opening for a, senior software engineer, C++ image processing. I've applied directly to you through your system. I put a cover letter. I'm particularly interested in the role because it matches my previous experience, where I'm a C++ coder for the last 10 years. I have image processing experience, and I have worked in a similar industry to head up display, automotive, or whatever it is. Quick, short, succinct, just so that when I see it, I go, oh, okay. And do you know what? I would have a quick look. I'd have a quick look on your profile on LinkedIn, and then I'd go and have a look to see whether you'd applied. And that is a way to get your name, your face ahead of everybody else. And I could cope with 10 of those out of all the applications, because I know the other ones aren't going to do it. So I could say to you, let's say I'm speaking to the 100. Well, 80 of those 100 aren't going to be listening to me because they don't know who I am. They don't know the role they've applied for. They know they're not particularly relevant for it. If they actually took the time to read the job description, they'll realise that they're a C# or they have no C++. They've never done image processing. They're out of the country and they're not willing to relocate. And all these things are on the job description, but from an automation perspective, none of that would have been picked up. So I do think you need to stand out a little bit, and that would make my job a lot easier. And yeah, it would. I wouldn't say it would get you ahead of the, top of the pile, but it would certainly make you have a better success rate in at least having initial conversations with companies for roles that you're applying for. But the key thing here is that that only works if you are relevant and you have the relevant skills and the required skills and experience that we're looking for. Now, if there's a list of requirements in the job description or the job advert, let's say there's 8 key requirements, and you match the first 5 or 5 of them, then I'd say you're a good match. We're not looking to tick every single box, but the core ones. So that, if you're applying for a C++ coding software engineer role and you haven't done any C++, or you did a bit at university but you haven't done any since, and it's a senior role, then you're not going to be suitable for the position. It's as simple as that. And you are actually wasting your time applying for the position, and not taking that time to go and find something that is more relevant for you, that would be time better spent. It's just not it's not good use of your time. It's not economical, it's not productive, and it does slow down the recruitment process for everybody. So that's my little conversation. Take it how you will. I don't know if you can see in the background, actually, Werther's Original Popcorn. Highly recommend. I didn't buy it, my daughter bought it from Costco, and it's the most Moorish snack I think I've ever had. So I cannot even have one tiny piece, otherwise I will destroy the whole bag and be in an awful lot of trouble. Anyway, Oliver Bridle signing off.